Tonight, the world may be standing just one decision away from a disaster that could change everything. Donald Trump has now delivered a terrifying ultimatum to Iran: agree to a deal immediately, or prepare for bombing at a level much higher and more intense than before. And now millions of people across the world are asking the same question. Is the United States about to launch another massive war in the Middle East? This is NPM News, and I'm James Merello. Before we continue, subscribe right now and turn on notifications, because this story is moving incredibly fast, and the next few days could change global politics forever. For a moment, people believed the crisis was calming down. There were reports of secret negotiations, talks behind closed doors, diplomats rushing between countries, and whispers that Washington and Tehran were finally close to an agreement. But then Donald Trump posted a message that shocked the entire world. He warned Iran that if the agreement fails, the American bombing will begin again, and this time it will be even more devastating. Not limited, not symbolic, not temporary, much higher, much stronger, much more dangerous. The statement exploded across social media within minutes. Markets reacted instantly. Oil prices jumped again. Global leaders reportedly rushed into emergency discussions, and ordinary people everywhere suddenly remembered just how fragile peace really is. Trump described the American military campaign against Iran as epic fury, calling it legendary. But for families living near possible conflict zones, there is nothing legendary about the fear of missiles, explosions, and warplanes returning to the skies. And what makes this story even more confusing is the sudden change in Trump's actions. Just one day earlier, the United States had launched Project Freedom, a military operation designed to guide trapped commercial ships through the Strait of Hormuz after growing tensions in the region. The Strait of Hormuz is not just another water route. It is one of the most important trade passages on Earth. A huge percentage of the world's oil moves through that narrow stretch of water every single day. So when conflict threatens the Strait of Hormuz, the entire world feels it. Fuel prices rise, markets panic, shipping slows down, and fears of economic collapse begin spreading fast. But then suddenly, Trump paused the operation almost immediately. One day after launching it, he stopped it. Why? According to Trump, mediators including Pakistan and other countries requested more time because major progress was being made toward a final agreement with Iran. That announcement surprised even some of Trump's supporters. One moment America appeared ready for confrontation. The next moment, the White House was talking about peace. And now, the threat of massive bombing is back again. This is exactly why the situation has become so dangerous. Nobody truly knows what happens next. Behind the scenes, reports claim the United States and Iran may already be close to signing a one-page memorandum that could end the conflict and restart nuclear negotiations. But trust between the two countries is extremely weak. For decades, Washington and Tehran have stood on opposite sides of some of the world's biggest conflicts. Every conversation carries suspicion. Every agreement carries risk. And one wrong move could push the entire region into chaos. Meanwhile, the blockade remains active. Trump confirmed that although Project Freedom has been paused, the American blockade against Iranian ports will continue. That means pressure on Iran is still growing, and Iran itself has continued restricting movement around the Strait of Hormuz, increasing global fears that energy supplies could be disrupted even more. Some experts now warn that if diplomacy fails, the economic consequences alone could be devastating. Imagine fuel prices exploding worldwide, shipping companies unable to move goods, stock markets crashing from panic, and countries across Europe, Asia, and Africa struggling with another global economic shock. But beyond politics and economics, there's also the human side of the story. Because every time leaders exchange threats like this, ordinary people suffer first. Families worry, soldiers prepare for deployment, children grow up hearing the sounds of conflict, and millions of innocent civilians become trapped between powerful governments fighting for control and survival. That is the reality behind the headlines. And tonight, the pressure is building faster than ever. Trump says peace is possible, but in the very same message, he warns of devastating military action. That contradiction has left the entire world confused. Is this negotiation? Or is this the final warning before something much bigger begins? Even America's allies appear uncertain. Some world leaders are reportedly pushing desperately for diplomacy, afraid that another military escalation in the Middle East could trigger instability far beyond the region itself. Because if this crisis spirals out of control, it will not stay contained. The effects could spread globally, and now the clock is ticking. Iran must decide whether to move forward with the proposed agreement. Trump must decide whether to continue negotiations or return to military action. And the world waits nervously to see which path both sides choose. One path could lead to diplomacy. The other could lead to explosions, economic chaos, and another terrifying chapter in global conflict. Right now, the future may depend on decisions being made behind closed doors, while the rest of the world watches in fear. And perhaps the scariest part of all, everything could change overnight. This is NPM News. I'm James Merello. If you believe the world is entering one of the most dangerous moments in recent history, comment below and tell us your thoughts. Do you think this deal will happen, or is a larger conflict now unavoidable? Subscribe to NPM News for more breaking global updates, and we'll continue bringing you the stories the world is watching.